You're listening to Life and Shyt. I'm Danielle Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal.
What's up, baby?
Hello. How you doing?
Is that the bedroom voice?
That is the bedroom voice. I'm feeling a little bedroom vibes because our anniversary is around the corner.
Check you out.
Yeah.
Anniversary vines or vines?
Anniversary vibes. 14 years we've been married.
14, yes.
17 years we've been together.
17, that's a long time. So,
almost 2 decades.
yeah. Damn.
That's gangster. I like it.
I love you. I love you.
I love you too. I got a question.
What's the question, baby?
Do you, speaking of our 14-year anniversary, do you remember your first time?
My first time what? Right?
Your first time everything.
There's lots of different first times, right? So, yeah, I remember, I don't know, for whatever reason, whenever you ask someone, when's like, do you remember your first time? Or how was your first time? You automatically think sexual.
Hell
right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But there's 1,000 different. I know.
Why do we care if they remember the first time?
I know.
Is that think about it on Thursday?
It's true. Is that the biggest first time? I mean, and then honestly, like after that first time, it's probably like after you get out of high school, no one even thinks about their first time again, unless you see the person that you had the first time with. And then you're like, oh, because it's like you guys share this little secret. Like, oh.
If you run into the person you had your first time with, that means you need to move out of that city. That means you've been in that city way too long, and it's time to diversify your portfolio and broaden your horizons.
Now that's hilarious. Do you remember your first time?
I remember most things, but not all of them. My first time of most things. So it's one of those things where back in the days, we used to have photo albums, right? And when you have a photo album, me personally, I still have photo albums, and I tend to go through it, and it helps me remember my first time, different things, adventures, travel, purchases. Like it's all kind of different things that my photos help me to remember. But just like off the top of my head,
just like
just like you have that vague memory of things.
And then there's those things that you've done so often that you just really don't remember. Like the first time you ate like vanilla ice cream, it's like, I remember the first time I ate vanilla ice cream. But the first time I ate like, say, pistachio ice cream was like, oh yeah, that was different. And it took a couple of years and for me to grow up and become and then say like, oh, maybe I'll try that. Other than that, it was all vanilla, right? Yeah,
that's true. That's a very good point, because you do something so many times you don't remember the first time because you thought you was born like that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I've been eating ice cream out the womb. Like,
I've been doing this all my life.
Yeah, rainbow sprinkles.
Rainbow sprinkles. It's my thing.
That's my thing. So what helps you? I said photo albums. What helps you to remember all those different things?
Now Facebook, right? Facebook shows.
Facebook memories?
Yep.
You did this 4 years ago, 7 years ago.
Oh, damn, I did do this 4 years ago.
And you did it, and don't tag somebody because you did it with such and such.
Yeah,
so
you're like, I don't even talk to him no more.
Yeah. Like, I unfriended that dude 3 years ago. That's the trip about Facebook. That shit come up like, remember this? I didn't want to, but thank you, Meta.
Like, I'm glad you showed me. Now I remember why I don't mess with this person.
It was actually that moment.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now, we talking about first time experiences, and it's going to be fun today, just kind of talking about a lot of first time things. And even at my age, like I think a lot of my first time experiences when I was young, traveling in the military specifically, I don't remember a lot of that. And being a kid, from where I'm from, I was in a box. Like I didn't know anything about culture. I didn't think about when you travel somewhere, how to like take it all in. So when I was in the military, I was 17 years old. And no, I was 17 when I joined, but by the time I started traveling, I was 18, almost 19 years old. So just to be outside of New York City was an experience.
Was a deal.
Now you put me in Singapore or you put me in Thailand. The only thing I did was drink and go to strip clubs. Yeah. That was it. So I don't remember anything about the culture, like the food, the experience. I did some. But
that
shopping.
Was your first time going.
That was the first time.
That was first time going to.
Yeah. So I feel
that's
bad.
What you remember?
I feel bad. Like you were like, oh, you don't remember this about that. I'm like, nah, I don't.
So you feel bad because your second time will be like your first time.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's okay. That's okay.
But,
I mean, like you got off the nerves, right? Because I think that's one of the things that makes you really remember like the first time is especially significant first times, right? Like sexual experiences or jumping out of a plane. It's that whole lead up to. So it's like being kind of afraid or nervous, right? Like, oh shit, this is going to happen. And, you know, I could imagine you being 17, 18 and going to just the military for the first time, right? Like then there's those first times you can't do again, right?
Yeah, true that.
Like you can't go to the military for the first time again.
I've done this already.
Yeah, right. Can't go to college for the first time again. You know, it's like no, you're going to college again.
That's real talk. Like once the first time, that's it.
Yeah, it's over. It is over. I remember the first time, like some super significant first times is what I remember. Like first time I seen snow. Now I'm a California girl. Again, I'd been in California my whole life. Not saying that there's no snow in California, but I'd never seen the snow. I'd never been to Big Bear or anything like that. So I'd never seen the snow. So I'll never forget. I moved to Gary, Indiana. It snowed. We looked outside. Everything was white. It was amazing. I'll never forget that. Never, ever, ever, ever. And from then on, I've hated snow and will never go back to it. So I remember running outside and like grabbing the snow and being like, oh, it's so cold. Like, oh, it was so cold. And then immediately going into the house and putting hot water on my hands. And I swear my hands still hurt because of that.
That was a terrible idea.
No one told me that. Yeah.
You wouldn't have known that. And that's funny because you see snow for the first time. And then like I was said, when you just born with it. So like I was just born with snow. So to see snow was just natural.
It was a thing.
And then to come here. And then, like, our kids never seen snow. Yeah. And we took them up to the mountains.
Yes.
And they were just like, oh, my gosh. And I'm like, y'all being weird. Like, it's snow. Like,
I was like, I remember that experience.
Yeah,
like, how come no one took me to the mountains?
But it's natural. You know, it is natural. You know, especially depending on regions. Like, you know, where you from really dictates your first time as well, right? So
that's true.
Like I'm from the Northeast, so we get snow. We get a lot of a lot of different weather and
seasons. But like here, people will be like, "Oh, we don't really experience seasons." Oh, true. Or we have hurricanes. We don't have hurricanes. This is true.
So the first time I experienced the earthquake, I was like, "Oh shit!" Your first time experiences for everything is
that is so real.
It's either going to be a mind fuck or it's going to be quite the experience. And we just talked about mind fucking just now, so that's why I brought it up.
You threw it. But you're right, because then it's like you grew up with snow, I grew up with earthquakes, right? So it was just like, oh, the earth moves a little bit over here, you know? So it was something that was like natural to me.
Yeah, true that. So I think one of my most favorite first time experiences has to do with a few different, so from traveling to adventures, the first time we jumped out of a plane, right? Actually, every first time experience for the most part is pretty cool until, unless it's one of those weird first time experiences and then those are the ones you make fun of, right? So, but when you travel and you go to, different monuments, different museums, different things.
Well, travel, I remember the first time I got on a plane. That was really kind of dramatic for me because I hadn't gotten it. The first time I got on a plane, I was already like 30, I want to say.
Oh shit, you was a grown up.
Yeah, so it was a big deal. It was like, oh, and I was like bona fidely scared.
Hold
right?
on. You said 30.
Was I 30?
We was together?
No, it was with So no, so I was like 20 something.
When you went to Hawaii?
Nope, Mississippi. That was my first. That was my very first flight.
But I had my eye on you.
Ah, you silly.
I remember that. Yeah,
I remember the first time I went to Hawaii. That's different, right? If you're able to go to Hawaii more than once. But you go again, it's like, oh, I know this island now.
I forgot that we went to Mississippi. Jeez. Lake Tiacata.
Lake Tiacata.
Where in Mississippi is that? If y'all know where that is, if you look it up, please.
That's where we were.
Don't ever go there. There's nothing there.
It was a retreat, you're silly. From travel to adventure, jumping out of a plane. That was pretty.
Lake Tiacata was an adventure.
You're silly.
Like,
That's true.
you just made me think about. I remember that whole like. Oh my
it just
God.
flashed back to you.
Like,
Now it's flashing back to me. Thanks. That was a whole trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a trippy trip.
That was.
Man,
The whole experience, right?
Yeah.
That whole experience. Woo.
that's why I forget a lot of that part of my life.
That makes sense. But some things you can't forget, baby. You got to remember so you don't never, ever, ever, ever run into people like that or things. But no, I like how you are, though, because you don't hold those grudges. So if those people even came back, you would recognize it and then send them away. But you would give people an opportunity to prove themselves.
Exactly.
Where I stay guarded and be like, yeah, no, you smell like, look like the last one, so therefore you get
smell
passed.
and look like Lake Tiacata.
Denied.
No.
But skydiving.
Skydiving was off the chain. I mean, one of the experiences is when it comes to first time experiences too. The reason why we don't have a lot of first time experiences is because of fear. So skydiving, speaking of skydiving, talking about getting on a plane. Like I got family members that will not get on a plane.
Yeah, they won't come visit us.
So therefore, you won't travel, right? So you won't have that first time experience of coming to California, whatever the case may be.
Going anywhere.
But fear is the biggest reason why we kind of miss out on a lot of first time experiences. But we've kind of taken on this like, all right, well, let's try it. Like, and if we like it, we'll do it twice.
Yep.
So when skydiving came, I think it was almost an obligation because it was a friend of ours' birthday. So it was like,
he was turning 40?
yeah, it was his 40th.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're friends, I have to do this.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'm just saying there was about 8 of us that were all friends at the time. We were the only ones that actually went, but that's okay. We're the walkers.
Well, that's
the walkers move different.
That's loyalty as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
It's a lot of different things that goes into that.
True.
Support,
This is true.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in supporting my friends, but we didn't allow fear to keep us from that experience.
Oh, we were scared.
Yeah.
Shit, I was
we didn't get
scared.
scared till we got up there.
Yeah.
And then I got a homeboy, my brother
God.
Dari, who, you guys seen the episode where we talked about child support. Dari was our special guest there. And this dude jumps out of airplanes almost everywhere he go.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah. That's so funny. And he's good. He's just like, I'll do it. He came with us when we did it. He's like, but he didn't jump. But he was good. He was like, I'll do it. Another thing, like another adventure for me, I'll never forget the first time I went driving. Like I drove for the first time. I'll never forget that.
I feel like you still driving for the first time.
What's hilarious? What's hilarious that you all talking about my driving last night. OMG. My family literally talked about a good 10 minutes about how like horrible of a driver I am. And then at the end, I was just like, oh, you guys are making me blush. But really, they were making me cry inside.
And the crazy thing is everybody agreed.
Same story.
Everybody agreed. So
my first time driving, I didn't get any lessons or anything like that. I had been behind the wheel one time with my stepdad, and he immediately took me on the freeway. Like, I think that was crazy because I was like scared. Like, literally, I was scared to death on that freeway. Like, and I just went right off to the next exit. Like, he was like, they say the way to teach you is to do, like, just get you on the freeway. I was like, I don't know where they taught you that, but no. So after that, I didn't drive till, it had to have been like 6 years later. I didn't drive till later in life. I was like 22. I'd already had 2 children. And I was like, damn, I got to drive. But I didn't have any car to drive. So my friend was like, hey, want to go to the store? And I was like, okay. I took her keys and I was like, oh, shit. And literally I just drove. It was down the street.
Did you crash?
No, I got close. I got real close. And one of her kids came with me and they was cracking up in the back. And I'm like, why are you laughing? They're like, you're so close to the cars.
You're about to mess up my mom's car.
That was my first time driving. I'll never forget that, though.
That is crazy.
You remember your first time driving?
Not the first time driving, because my dad let us drive a lot.
Oh, okay.
And then my uncles will let. So it was part of our circle. So it goes back to that, like, that was just normal.
Yeah.
That's just what we did.
That makes sense. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, babe. I'm sorry. No. I just wanted to follow up on what you said about fear, right? Fear is the reason why we don't have a lot of first times, but fear is the reason why a lot of things seem like the first time, right? Like, so I hate talking in front of people. You know what I mean? So it's like, every time I have to, it feels like the first time. It's like, shit, I got to do this and that and prepare and, instead, and which I think you do very well, but I know you still get a little bit of like, a little bit of fear or nervousness, right, of what you're going to say or whatnot, but you're really good when it comes time to do it. You're just like, da, 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 da. It just flows, like angel. Da, 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 da. And then I'm all like, I mean, even here, sometimes I have notes written down, I've practiced, and then we get to it and it's like, oh shit, I get nervous. Been behind the mic now tons of times, and now I'm finally now where it's, and so I guess even things like that could be comfortable after a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. I was going to say, once you get past, so first time experiences it covers a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. One of the things that people be nervous about is, trying, like being an entrepreneur, getting out there and, and testing the waters for whatever your idea is. Mm-hmm. So that's a first time experience, right?
Yes.
And people are very fearful because of the outcome, so the results of it. But like everything else, and, we kind of tell a lot of people this when we're coaching is practice makes perfect, or practice, is like once you've done it over and over again, then it's no longer the first time. You get over all of that anxiety, and then boom, look at you, you're natural, right?
That's true.
So you get rid of fear, and then at the same time, fear comes with shame. So you like, oh well, I don't want to mess up, because then if I do mess up, then I'm gonna have this shame on top of it. But it's like, but did you die?
Yeah.
Like, no, you didn't. Or
That's
so
true.
No, you're not gonna die.
Yes.
Now, if you're trying to contemplate whether or not you should jump out of an airplane, yes, you may die. It's 1,000% true, right? But flying an airplane is less, the likelihood of dying is less than driving in a car.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
There's way more accidents on the road.
Exactly. But you're going to say like, I won't do this X, Y, and Z, or I won't eat this.
True that.
It's all because of shame.
It's like you're not going to get on a plane, but you're going to eat a whole pound of bacon. Like,
you're going to die some faster way. Eating all the goddamn BLTs.
Something's going to happen some way. Yeah, it's like teaching yoga. Like the first time I remember teaching a yoga class, and it's like after you teach it the first time, after years of, then it's just like it comes to you, just like click, 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 So it's the same thing. It's scary at first, and you're trying to remember all the things, and then after practice, it's like all the things come to you, and it's easy. So yeah, after practice, things are a lot easier.
And the crazy thing is, we allow first time experiences that we've done as children to kind of creep up and hold us back from first time experiences today.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Like, we are still doing first time things.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've done a podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yes.
this is, we just got out here and we did it.
Yeah.
Now I could have been fearful, because of whatever that I've done as a kid and people made fun of, and that's the other thing is like, if you did something and going back to that shame and somebody made fun of you, you're like, well, I will never allow that to happen again.
Right.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
If the people, like I said, if you run into your first time person that you had sex with for the first time, you run into them again, that means you in the wrong goddamn city.
Silly, man.
So if people make
even
fun
if
of
it's
you,
in your outside of your city, but yeah, you're right.
If people make fun of you, like, you know what I mean? Like, are you gonna run into those motherfuckers again?
Yeah.
No, stop it.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't put basically what I'm getting at is don't be in a box. Like, get out the fucking box. And because I think one thing is like we try and get people to do things all the time, and we'll be like, oh, have you done that before? No, I've never done it. So let's go.
Like legit, if people tell us they've never done something, then it's just like, I want to be the one to bust your cherry. I want to be the one. I'll never forget the first time I heard someone say, you got your cherry busted. And I was like, wait, what? Like, because you had like a shot of this. Like, that's different. You know? Like the first time you got drunk.
All right. I remember that. I couldn't go to work the next day. My pops was pissed. He was pissed like he was my boss. like if it was his job, or his business. It was like if it was his business and you call it off. Like what? He was pissed.
Oh, that is too funny.
I was 16 years old.
Oh man. I'll never forget the first time I had drunk. It was after I had my first kid. And I wouldn't say I was 20. And I didn't drink at all. I wasn't a drinker back then. And I just happened to have, I remember it was Parmesan, and they had a big old bottle of it. Yep, it was Parmesan.
Not Parmesan.
Right, a big old bottle of it, too.
Back some memories.
Yeah, man. And all I remember is us taking 3 shots. I had never taken a shot, so that was my first shots too, right? So I took 3 of them, and I just remember saying 3. That's like the last thing I remember is saying the word 3. And then I woke up. And then the next day, and this is when you had to actually go get pictures like processed. So the next day, my friend came over with this little pack of film pictures that were processed and showed me, laid them all out. And it was nothing but like, so, you know, I'd had a baby at the time. So it was like me with the baby, instead of the baby, it was the Parmesan.
And he went to the 1 hour. He got them joints done in 1 hour. If it was the next day, he didn't do it a 2-3 day joint. He was like, yo, I need these express. Damn.
So they wrapped the Parmesan in a blanket. Yeah. So that was my first time getting drunk. I'll never forget that.
Damn. We gotta have a conversation about that later.
Yeah.
So, Holly, did you not have dinner either?
I'm sure I didn't have nothing. It's like my first day without the kids too. It was like, let's go. Do you remember the first time you seen or went to a concert or seen a band?
Probably not. No, because now that I think about like all the concerts that I've seen and all the musicians that like hanging out with musicians. So I don't remember the first time. And I think that's the difference between the first time doing things as a child and as an adult. Because as a child, I think you feel you tend to remember a few more of those things. And then as an adult, it's not really like a one and done. It's like I've done it and then I do it multiple times over and over.
Yes,
you know, so I've been to a lot of concerts and things like that.
And then so there's 2 things to that, right? One is as far as concerts, you started going to concerts earlier in age, and then I didn't start going to concerts until older. So I was older, and my first concert was Trey Songz, and Miguel was the opener for that, and no one knew who Miguel was at the time.
Well, shit, you dating yourself by dating yourself.
Not trying to do that, but saying like that. I mean, I am dating myself, but literally that was my first concert. Like, just so you guys know, I should have been gone to a concert way before that. But if you want to say that, that was my first concert. I was like 20 something. He was the panty dropper.
so I didn't go. No, so I it wasn't like concerts I was going to. I was in clubs. So I was in clubs early. And because living in Queens, everybody's
they
a
had
rapper.
Performers and stuff. So no, I didn't do none of that either. So
and then even being in parks, like so that was the cool thing about living where we live.
That's true.
But an actual concert, I didn't go to an actual concert until I moved to California.
Oh, okay. Who was that?
Like I don't even remember.
Oh boy.
It was, I'm sure we was together. It was probably whatever our first concert was. 1,000%. Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Because I remember seeing Beyonce, Hove, like legit. Those were probably some of our first concerts.
We seen John Legend, we seen Lauryn Hill, we seen a lot of people.
All of them, yeah. Like that's my concert life right there.
Okay, that's funny. So, and then my second thing to that is like, yes, very much. I feel that kids could have first experiences over and over again. Because you take a child to Disneyland at 2, they don't remember. They for sure don't remember. You just take pictures. But it's so fun to watch their little faces light up. And, it's cool for you. You remember it because they're just like, oh, no. But then you take them at 5. They don't remember when they were 2. So it's like taking them all over again, right? And then they're just like super amazed about everything. Then you take them again at 10. They don't remember when they were 5. They're like, that was 5 years ago. A whole nother experience. Then you take them at 15 and forget about it. Like,
so is it about the kids or is it for you?
Exactly. Well, that's so either way, though, that's what I'm saying. As a child, if you were fortunate enough to have gone to Disneyland all these times, then your first time is going to be a little skewed, right? Because you're like, I remember my first time, but not really. It's like you remember the first time you actually enjoyed it, or the first time like it meant something to you. Other than that, it was just time and time again. But as an adult, then that's a different experience, giving it to a child. So there's 2 different ways you could look at that, right? From the child growing up, or then as an adult giving that experience. And it's like for our granddaughter right now, I would love to give her those kind of experiences.
See, now the way I look at it, like the whole time while you were saying that, all I could think of is a dad with a young kid running around the park. And the kid has 0 idea. So it's literally just you with like 15,000 kids. And it's like, this ain't about the kid. I'm here with 15,000 other kids running around being rambunctious, going crazy. And my kid has no idea what's happening.
They're just having a good time, though. As long as they're smiling and moving, and that's all that matters.
Your kid ain't smiling and moving because he don't know what's going on. like our granddaughter.
Like the 2-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, she would get out, like, she'd play in the water and the little things they have for them.
But she gets excited about everything.
That is true.
So to take, so it don't even matter.
You are so silly. You call her 10-second Tom too. So you could go out the front door and come in through the back door, and she like, excited. She just didn't want to see you go. That's all.
So a few other first times. That first time you bought your first car, I remember that. When you first bought your house. Different, like, different things that kind of last forever. First time, those are pretty significant. Like those one-offs. They're one-offs, and you're like, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing I would like to press upon everybody is, you get into a routine. Don't let your routines start to dictate whether or not you still have first times or not. Because you get into a routine, you get into this world where all of a sudden, you don't even have the capacity to create first time experiences where you're like, I've never been to Rome. I have no desire to go to Rome because my routine is keeping me from going to Rome or whatever the case may be. Like, nah, fuck that. Go to Rome. If it was a desire, like I had my homeboy text me a couple of days ago, was asking about whether or not you should buy an expensive watch. Hell yeah. Like, it's going to be your first time experience buying an expensive watch. Why stop? Why question it today? Because you want to hope and wait for tomorrow to get it? Tomorrow's not promised. So if you have an opportunity for the first time, or if that first time experience was a seed in your head, fucking put some water on that seed and let's go for it. Let's do it.
Make it grow.
Exactly.
Every first experience, it's the first time, but every first time it like matters. So
say it again for the people.
Every experience matters, but the first time matters more.
I like that. See, so the first time matters more. You're literally one decision away from a life-changing experience.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like everything that you do, that's the first time will change your trajectory.
Yes.
Your trajectory.
Yeah. So like you're saying, if instead of having that fear of doing something out of routine, step out of the norm, experience something for the first time. You'll never get to have that first time experience again. So I mean, have it, and if it's not a great time, then so be it. Don't do it again. Shit. At
least you got a story to come with it. Yeah, that's my favorite thing. Listen, at least I got a story.
One of my favorite sayings I say is, and this has been for years, is I'll try anything once, and if I like it, I'll do it again. And I've said that forever and ever, and that's one of the things I stand on.
Yeah. So keep learning, keep doing, keep growing. Life and shit.
Life and shit.
I love you, girl.
Love you.
Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.